What's going on today, Internet? CellPhish here with Retrospect. I received my button kit here from Mech DIY, so we are ready to make the TrimUI Brick look even spicier. So we're going to do that here in this video, as well as show you how to do a couple of other things with the TrimUI Brick while we have it pulled apart. This should be a fun, quick little video that maybe helps some of you guys out. Let's take a look. So this is actually going to turn into a little mix and match between handhelds here, so it might be kind of an interesting little thing. I'm probably not going to show you pulling apart all of the handhelds as I do this, but the way that I did order these buttons was in multiple colors so that I could do some mix and matching between some different handhelds. First off, let's see what kind of tools that Mech DIY sent us. It looks like we have both sets of screwdrivers, both the Torx and also the regular Phillips screwdriver here, as well as a smudging tool and a guitar pick. Most of this you aren't going to need, but it is nice that they send us the tools in case you run into a situation where you do need them, and we'll have them in the future if we need them for another project. Alright, now this was stuck to the bag. I'm not exactly sure. This looks like it opens like an old pill case, but it is actually stickered shut. We are going to open her up. Gonna cut her along that sticker there. I probably should have just pulled the sticker off. That's what I should have done. Yep, it's too late now. I'm committed. Too late now. All right, and there we go. Oh, and of course, it wraps all the way around because why wouldn't it? I mean, it does make sense. They are trying to make sure that they don't tip out. And there we go. So we got a combination of green and orange buttons. Maybe we'll do it all in one and then I'll play with them again later. You know what? That's what we're going to do here. All right, so we'll put them on here. We'll take a look and see what it looks like, and then we'll go from there. Keep hitting my head on the camera. All right, here we go. So we are going to, first off, turn this off. It can be important not to have power on while we are doing this installation. We're also going to pull the memory card out of the bottom. All right, and now for me, instead of using these tools here, I have brought my own because I like tools that work on their own, and we're gonna figure this out. All right, and we are looking at a T6H. I guess we could have gone through my previous video. So righty tighty, lefty loosey. If you do have one of these mats, or if you do a lot of these, or even just a few of them, these mats are great. They're magnetic, so you don't lose your screws. As you can see, they just kind of stop bouncing there. Something I would recommend to anybody who's looking at doing anything like this. And I made the decision here, we are just going to put all of them in on this one, and then I'll decide if I want to switch them around, because actually I'm kind of digging the way this might look. So we might just leave it the way that it happened. I picked the orange, and then I told them just to go ham on whatever other color they wanted. So I was just kind of guessing what they were going to do, and it's looking pretty good actually. I think that this will be a good combination of colors. Now, the trick with the TrimUI Brick is that you don't need a smudging tool. It's held together with a set of pogo pins, and if you just kind of wiggle it a little bit, you're going to get them out. Now be careful not to pull this wire. Now these little pins here are what is holding it together, and that is for the LEDs on the backplate. So once you get to this point, you're just going to want to get that battery unplugged. Now we have no power to the handheld, so good to go. And we also lost our thermal pad here on the back, which is fine. We'll just put that right back on here. Now I am going to show you how to do the back real quick, just because I do have easy access to it from right here. Not something I'm obviously going to be replacing in this video because I've obviously already done it, but if you are going to do it, you just pull two screws right here and your back pops right off. And there you go. And you do have the little key button pieces, and these just come apart. On your new back, you just put these back on here. So pretty simple, but that is how it works. We're just going to put this back together because we don't need to take it apart for this particular project that we're doing right now. And now when you put these back in, these do have little ridges on here where they sit right in with the LEDs. Once you line them up, they will slap right back down there. Now I don't recommend fully tightening anything with a electric screwdriver because the other side of this is plastic, so you don't want to strip it. So we'll just use the screwdriver that they provided here to finish tightening, just to make sure we don't strip her down. There we go. And now she's on there good and snug, and it looks pretty again. The screwdriver ran away on me. Now when it comes to this part right here, what we're gonna do is you do have to pull off this rail here. This is for the LED bar on the top. This is holding part of the board in, and then after this there's only a couple of other screws. So I'll show you how this works. Okay, and here we go. So now we just have a couple of other screws here that are holding this together. I've actually never pulled this all the way apart, but I am confident that I am seeing this correctly. Oh, before we get too far, sorry, timeout. We do want to pull off, this right here is the antenna for the Wi-Fi. Before the board gets too loose, you know, I'm gonna use my tweezers. You can use your fingers for this if you want. I tend to use tweezers, but this here is just the antenna for your Wi-Fi, and she should pop right off. Hopefully. There we go. And then just kind of push her off to the side over here. It's going to end up moving anyways. Not a big deal. The other thing you do need to do as well is you'll pull this right here. This is the cable for your display. You're just going to pull that bad boy off right there. So that's done there as well. Now we will go back and finish with these last couple of screws. Oh, and then we also need to pull off our stereo speakers, which are right over here. I kind of forgot about those too, but that's all right. We can do those right now. These here are for our stereo speakers. Like I said, I haven't pulled this apart yet, but I'm confident in my abilities that we can get this done in one shot here. There's one speaker. It is easier to do with something like this because you can just kind of get underneath it and hook it. So there's our stereo speakers. Now we should be able to just slide this out. We are going to need to be careful with this cable right here because you do not want this to break because that is your display cable. So what we're going to do is slide it right down through that hole there. I'll show you that here as we go. See, as we pick up, we're going to pull this out right here because this little piece here for the headphone jack is in there pretty snug, and then kind of help that through there. And there it is, our display piece right there. And here is our board. Not a whole lot we have to do on here because this does have a membrane that holds everything in. So we're going to pull this out. That is our D-pad membrane. And then we do have one for our buttons, if I can get it out. And they do hold directly onto the membrane itself. Makes it really easy. So then in this case, all we're doing is looking for our XY. So our X, and these do have a little thing on the bottom of them, so they only do fit in the specific spots that they go. Well, I guess they could fit anywhere, kind of, but this makes them fit upright. We have X, we have Y. Again, it's got a spot on the bottom, so it's going to make it fit in the right direction. We have A, and we have B. And then as far as putting this back in, you'll just take this right here, and you're just going to put it right back in. And see how these little posts are? It's only going to fit within those posts. And align those three little posts up. Be careful of your display cable here, and look at that. That's just going to go right back on there like that. Easy peasy. And she's in there. And so now when you turn it over, there she is. And now this one just fell out too, but that's okay. And then as far as this goes, it's not directional, it looks. So I'd like to keep it in the same direction though, like that. That way the logo is straight. You take that bad boy, there you go. And now you have your button on there. I didn't show either. I did put a screen cover on here the other day, so there is a screen cover on here as well. Okay, and then we do have our lower buttons, which are what fell out here. So this little tribute right here, you just put this bad boy right here, and they're all stuck together. So there's that. It's kind of different than most are. They're not popping out nearly as bad as some of these do. All right, then up here we do have our plus and minus. We did do those in orange, and they are separate pieces where the original ones are one piece. So just something to be aware of when you're putting it back together. You are going to have to be conscious that they aren't falling out. Here it kind of holds them into the body because of that extra little piece down there, but we aren't going to have that little piece anymore. Whoop. There we go. Pop goes the weasel. And you just got to figure out which one is plus and which one is minus. Then they slide right back down into that little spot. And these will still kind of hold in thanks to the way the body is, but not like they were before. And we'll see how those look right there. There they are. Nice. I like it. We also do have a reset button down here on the bottom. Probably should have done this before I put those other ones in. It does allow you to get into the buttons a little bit more with the tweezers, so I think that a tweezers might be very helpful for anybody doing this process. So there's that. And then this goes in this direction so that these little feet are on the bottom. That's what was holding it in. So we put those little feet back down to the bottom. We'll put this other piece back in a minute. There we go. Now she's in, and we'll put these ones back in. If I would have done this before, I would have known just to wait to put these back in until after that. But these do have this little post here that helps hold them in too, and I hadn't pushed that down yet. So we got that as well. Now we do also have our power button here. I'm not sure what happened to our last power button. Oh wait, this goes on the side over here. Our power button's right here. And again, it's got that little piece right there. So you want to get that off, and then you should be able to pull it out. These aren't supposed to just fall off on their own, so they shouldn't be real hard to pull apart, but they shouldn't be real easy either. I believe there's a gasket on the back of this power button here too. I wonder if we just pulled that off. It just falls right out without that. All right, we're gonna want to use this again, or not. Maybe we don't use that again. Oh, it's already built into this. I got it. Okay, so we already have that gasket built in, so we don't need it. We're gonna put that bad boy in. We'll get this around the post down here at the bottom. Now she's in. She ain't going anywhere. All I had to do is take a good push her down. She's in there full good. Feels like it's gonna work just fine. Just so that if I ever need this button again, we'll put this back in here. This is TrimUI's way of just extending this. I'm not sure if it was part of their assembly process or what, but they did put this little rubber gasket in here. And then last but not least, we do actually have these pieces up here, and I didn't realize it. So which side do we want which, huh? Let's see. This is set up so that orange is here and green is the next one. And these don't need to be connected. I know that the original ones were. That was just kind of to hold them in place during assembly. It's not required to have them connected. We're actually seeing more and more companies go back to this. For a long time, they had gone away from connecting them, which did make doing updates a little bit trickier, but it also made it easier if you just wanted to swap out like single button colors and stuff like that, where you wouldn't have to print everything on single plates like they are here, with these clear things in between. Make sure that's on there all the way. These are on there all the way. Make sure it all looks normal. Oh yeah, it looks good. I'm digging it. Well, it was looking good till that one fell out. All right, let's get this bad boy back in there. and then we will put it back together. And that's why they started doing that again. This D-pad is the most protruding thing out here, so of course it keeps getting knocked back. But we're gonna get her taken care of right now. We just need to get this all put back together. So with your board here, you're going to want to get this ribbon for the display up in through here. And now remember, this headphone jack needs to get slid in. So there's that, along with our reset button. So those are slid in. Now keep pulling on this to make sure it doesn't get tangled. And then remember how I said we have to watch these buttons because they're no longer on a rail system? Well, now they want to poke out. So just kind of move them around there. There we go. There's a little notch on this slider on the side here. Make sure that's on there. And make sure these have the clearance that they need on this side. Oh, that one fell out. Okay. And then, yep, there we go. Okay, so everything is back where it goes. Ooh, that looks nice. Okay, so now that we got all this here together, now all we got to do is pop that bad boy up, slide her in, boom. Just like that. So we got our display cable in there now. Now we just need to get our stereo speakers plugged back in. So we're going to be doing that right here. And those are our stereo speakers. And so now that we got those there, we just need to finish assembling it. So in order to hold this thing together properly, I think we're going to have to do the light bar first. Even though it was the first thing we took off, which is kind of the opposite of how you normally do stuff. But since these two little volume guys keep trying to pop out, and then we have our trigger over there. Okay. So we got our pasty a little bit. That's okay. It's not going to hurt it. A little thermal paster. But we're going to put these in here because it'll hold the board in place. So then once this is in, we won't have to worry about the board sliding around, especially like we got to plug in our Wi-Fi adapter. There we go. And then we are going to put this here. Now this is probably the hardest part of the whole thing, is getting this little Wi-Fi cable back on. Gonna put that there, right back on there, just like that. So everything here is all back together. So all we have to do now is put our backpack on, which includes our battery power cable. So we'll give her some power, and then we just gotta line up these pogo pins. All right, and we will put a couple of screws in here on the back. Okay. All right, there we go. And we're done. Put our card back in here. Boy, did that turn out really nice. Now, I just need to find a new theme to go with my new buttons. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I did go back to the original power button. Reason being is the one that's in here is a little too tight. So if you go through and watch my video, I did actually go back through. And if you're finding yours is too tight, I might recommend doing that as well. I think I know why they put rubber on the back of this, was to give it a little bit of play, which is not available on the ones that come with this. Not a big deal. And I'll look at it a little bit more. I might just sand it down a little bit and put it back in, but for now I am just rocking the original power button. But everything else is all changed out and it's working out really well. It is nice that everything's labeled. You even have your TrimUI Brick logo here on the D-pad, and everything feels just as nice as it did to begin with. It's all working really good. These membranes are phenomenal. These buttons look and feel really good. They are working as expected, so nothing to complain about here. But I'm gonna go do some testing with it while I wait for my kiddos in the school line. But that'll be all I got for you today. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share this video with your friends, because sharing doesn't only help grow the channel, but sharing is caring, and we care about each other here. Also, don't forget to check out one of these videos on the top. YouTube has decided that you are going to like one of those videos, and YouTube's never wrong, so I would check one of those out. But that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye!